Time travel? And a Belgian action star? What could possibly go wrong? That old bugaboo, time travel. Hey friends, Barkey Dog here. This time we're looking at a sci-fi actioner from 1994 based on a comic book series. This one stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as a cop who goes after bad guys. Okay, a pretty common story, right? But this one has a time travel twist. We're talking about Timecop from 1994, which takes place just 10 years into the future. Time travel is now a thing, and the government owns it, but bad actors on the world stage also gain access to the technology. So Uncle Sam sets up an agency to police time. In the present day, our hero Van Damme is a good cop who's just been offered a job at the newly minted agency when he's attacked at home and his wife is murdered by some mysterious bad guys. Flash forward 10 years to 2004, where Van Damme is a top-time cop. A slimy senator wants to be president, and he doesn't care how he gets there. He's been using a time travel setup to get money for his presidential campaign. Van Damme knows a no-goodnik when he sees one and is out to stop the senator from bringing his evil plans to fruition. Van Damme goes back in time to arrest an officer on the take, a friend and former partner of Van Damme's, who sold out to Senator Slime. Then, throughout the movie, Van Damme is in a race to stop the evil senator from altering events to reshape time to his own advantage. This movie was directed by Peter Hyams, who brought us Outland, Capricorn 1, and 2010, the year we make contact, so he was no stranger to sci-fi. Besides Van Damme, the cast includes Ron Silver as the main bad guy and Mia Sara from Ferris Bueller and Legend as Van Damme's wife. Gloria Rubin is a new time cop on the force. She was in the original Flash TV series from 1991. I love that show. That show was great. I saw Time Cop back when it first came out, and I rather enjoyed it. Back then, you could just have action stars plying their trade and giving audiences a little escapism along with fantastic fights and fireworks. But while I like the movie, that isn't to say that it's perfect. And technically, it wasn't the first of its kind. The TV series Time Tracks, with a very similar setup of a time-traveling policeman, came out in 1993, a year before this picture. There are rules to time travel in Timecop. However, unlike, say, Back to the Future, time travel in this movie is not as cohesive or well thought out. It's all over the place. They state categorically that you can't go into the future. You can only travel into the past and back to the present. And it appears that time stays relative. So if you go back in time and stay there for a day, when you return, a day has passed in the present as well. Okay, that's fair. But why not go forward in time? If you can go forward from the past, why not the future? Don't know. They also make it clear you can't go back and kill baby hankety-clankety guy because it would cause too much damage to the time stream. Okay, but they meddle by having shootouts and then leave futuristic weapons and dead henchmen from the future laying around and other stuff for cops in the past to find. This agency seems to be able to monitor incursions in time, but they have no way to measure changes to time. They say some bad guys keep trying to go back and stop President Carter from having peace talks, and they've tried 3 times, but how would they know if the bad guys succeeded? And in the movie, we see that things can be changed in the past that directly affect the present, and the time agency is oblivious to the changes. They also state that you can't go back and meet yourself because if you do, and touch yourself, it would unleash a disaster because two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. Well, maybe, I guess. Without giving anything away, they do show it happen in the movie, but it doesn't lead to the temporal apocalypse you're led to believe. Regardless, your future and past selves wouldn't be occupying the same space exactly. It seems as if they confused this idea with matter and antimatter. And as a member of an elite time travel organization, shouldn't Van Damme know better than to wear his official agency patches and other identifying information when he travels into the past? Let alone activating time warps and firing futuristic-looking guns right there in front of everybody? I also don't think they really thought much about what the near future would look like. In Runaway, we saw a future world that made sense. There was a more or less logical progression from the present-day technology we know to the near future tech shown in that movie. You don't really get that here. They use weird guns, but there's nothing to indicate why or what's special about them, or how they're better than regular guns. And the worst offender here is the car. It looks like they only had the one and tried to hide the fact by multitasking with it. Anyway, just look at this thing. Can you imagine anyone wanting something this ugly? Even 10 years from now? I mean, it looks as if they said, we need a car from the future, but they never considered what a car 10 years in the future would look like, or what advances there'd be. Instead, it looks like a car from 100 years in the future, and it sticks out like a sore thumb here. People generally use regular computers and phones and things, too. The tech guy has a VR set up to look at naughty pictures, but that's it. No slick control panels or video monitors or any of that. The tech is all very contemporary to 1994. The time portal looks interesting, but it doesn't flash or blink or anything like a Stargate. And the rocket sled is so painfully slow, it's almost laughable. So it's a little underwhelming. They really should have used miniatures to give the impression of speed similar to the Vipers launching from Battlestar Galactica. But here we have the slowest rocket sled ever made. But you know what? None of that really matters, because most people who went to see this weren't going for the time travel thing. They were going because they wanted to see Van Damme in action. And he's pretty good here. One thing I liked is that, as we discussed in my review of Drop Zone, like Wesley Snipes in that picture, Van Damme here is not a Superman. He's not Jet Li or Chuck Norris. He's got mad skills, sure, but he also gets his ass kicked a lot of the time. So, in spite of the insane splits he can do, he comes off as believable, more realistic. They do succeed in giving Van Damme a different look between his future self and his past self, and the slimy senator gets a similar makeover between both versions of his character. And the sort of bendy surface tension effect when they go through time is still pretty cool. Despite its flaws, Timecop was a big hit and made a lot of money. Later, a TV show and direct-to-video movie were made, but neither is really a sequel to Timecop and have none of the original cast. It's not a great time travel movie, to be honest, but Timecop is still interesting. I'm giving it 2 paws up. Mostly, as I say, you're probably watching this one to see Van Damme in action. But I did like a lot of the concepts surrounding the time travel element. Timecop is available on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and digitally from Amazon Prime. You can watch my review of Runaway here, and you can watch some of the other reviews on my channel. You check those out, and I'll see you in the next one.